The wedding was just 2 weeks away. The final arrangements were coming together, every flower meticulously chosen, every song picked with care. Sophia's dress hung in her closet, the veil spilling down like a cascade of soft white mist. Her fiancé, Ethan, was busy confirming the guest list, ensuring everything would be perfect for their day. Yet, Sophia's mind was not where it should have been. Her thoughts drifted, tangled in a web of emotions she could barely understand herself. Their story was one of those picture-perfect romances. They met at a coffee shop, where a spilled latte and an awkward laugh had sparked something inexplicable. Friends, family, and even strangers thought they were made for each other. Ethan was kind, attentive, the sort of person who noticed the little things. He knew her favorite song, the way she liked her tea, and he was always there, the steady heartbeat to her often restless spirit. But a month before the wedding, Sophia ran into an old flame, Caleb, at a friend's gathering. He was her first love, the one who had once held her heart in the palm of his hand, only to let it slip away when life pulled them in different directions. Seeing him again was like a wound reopening, one she didn't know was still tender. Caleb had changed. There was a weight in his eyes now, something raw and unfiltered. He apologized for the things that had driven them apart all those years ago, confessing that he had been too young, too wild to hold on to something real. His words, bittersweet, made her chest ache with a strange longing. He spoke of regrets, of late-night thoughts haunted by the girl he left behind. And suddenly, the old emotions that had been buried for years clawed their way back to the surface, actually stretched into hours. They talked of dreams they once had, of what might have been if life had unfolded differently. She reminded herself that she was spoken for, that her heart belonged to Ethan now, but the pull toward Caleb was undeniable. She left the party that night with her thoughts in turmoil, wondering how a single encounter could unravel her so thoroughly. Ethan noticed her distraction, the way she seemed distant, lost in thoughts she wouldn't share. She assured him it was wedding stress, that the whirlwind of planning was catching up with her, and he kissed her forehead, telling her she didn't have to worry about a thing. But his words only tightened the knot of guilt in her stomach. Unable to control the mounting tension within her, she met Caleb again. She told herself it was for closure, to put to rest the past she had left behind. But closure turned into late-night conversations, sharing secrets in the dimly lit corners of forgotten cafes. They became two people haunted by memories, finding comfort in the familiarity they once shared. One night, as they walked through an empty park under the glow of the streetlights, Caleb pulled her into an embrace. She felt his warmth, the familiarity of his touch, and in that moment, her resolve shattered. She kissed him, a desperate, soul-searching kiss that held years of unspoken longing. She felt alive, electrified, a whirlwind of emotions rushing through her. The kiss broke, and reality hit. She had betrayed Ethan, the man who had been nothing but kind and devoted. Panic set in, her heart torn between the safe, predictable love with Ethan and the tempestuous, intoxicating connection with Caleb. She knew the right path was to walk away, to let Caleb remain a part of her past, but her heart wouldn't listen. The wedding approached, and with it, Sophia's sleepless nights grew longer. She avoided Ethan's gaze, unable to bear the tenderness in his eyes. She rehearsed the vows in her head, the promises she would make, and each time the weight of her secret threatened to suffocate her. Night before the wedding, Ethan sensed her unease. He took her hand, leading her to the balcony where the city lights stretched below them like a sea of stars. "Sophia," he whispered, "I know something's been bothering you. I just want you to know that whatever it is, you can tell me." She looked into his eyes, the man who had loved her so completely, and felt her chest tighten. How could she confess what she had done? How could she tell him that her heart, the one he trusted, had strayed? Tears blurred her vision, and she forced a smile, unable to say the words that lingered on her tongue. The morning of the wedding dawned cold and grey. Sophia felt a sense of finality, as though every step she took was leading her deeper into a choice she wasn't certain of. She slipped into her wedding dress, the veil falling around her like a shroud. Her mother, friends, everyone marveled at her beauty, but she felt hollow, a bride with a secret she could never share. As she stood at the altar, Ethan's eyes met hers, filled with love, trust, and anticipation. The words she had prepared escaped her mind, replaced by a tidal wave of guilt. How could she make these vows, knowing what she had done? Her hands shook as she held his, her voice barely a whisper as she tried to steady herself. "Ethan," she began, her voice cracking, "you have given me so much love, more than I deserve. You've been my anchor, my safe place." She felt the weight of her own words, the irony biting into her. "And I promise to try and be the person you believe I am," brushing her hand. But her heart thundered, her conscience tearing her apart. The ceremony continued, and as they exchanged rings, her mind wandered to Caleb, to the stolen kiss under the streetlight, to the life that could have been. She knew she would never see him again, that the vows she made today would be her prison and her redemption. In the years that followed, Sophia tried to bury the memory, tried to let Ethan's love be enough to cleanse her soul. But the shadow of that betrayal never left, a quiet echo in her heart, a reminder of the path she had chosen and the love she had twisted in the darkness. She would always carry the weight of those vows, the ones she had broken before they were ever spoken. In the quiet moments, when Ethan held her close, she wondered if he could feel the fracture in her heart, the place where love had taken its twisted, uncharted path. And as time passed, Sophia learned to live with her choice, with the knowledge that sometimes, the promises we make are not only to others but to the parts of ourselves that will never fully heal. Titled, Vows in the Dark, When Love Takes a Twist. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, follow my page, like, comment. See you on my next video.